3 years ago, I set out to construct the most powerful nootropic stack for focus, motivation, and sheer cognitive horsepower. I logged hundreds of hours, sampled endless amounts of cognitive performance chemicals, and ran beta tests with soldiers from the United States Army. And after massive experimentation and ruthless trial and error, my work had finally paid off. I found what I was looking for.
Hope you like the commercial. Fast forward a minute if you don't want to hear us talk about Cortex, but if you're interested in hearing about the only pre-made stack that works, stick around for a minute, friends. All right, so look, yeah, the standout thing is we said, look, to beta testers, what do you want in a nootropic stack, in a commercial stack? They're like, we want a natural version of modafinil, hands down. You know, and at the time, you know, I had been experimenting with a stack that was allowing my brain to work pretty considerably over the course of an 18-hour day running a previous business. Once we actually got the stack together in the doses I wanted them in that really worked well for me, that I knew I needed to test with a bunch of other people, we sent it out to us a spectrum of people. It runs the gamut, the type of people that we sent the beta stack to. Business people, corporate people, people that, you know, had very specific positions in their job, very specific functions within their, you know, businesses or companies that they worked for that required a good degree of brain function. And most of them were suffering to one degree or another, whether they couldn't have energy from 5 p.m. to midnight or something, or just they would get there and drink coffee, and even then so they still wouldn't have the energy to do their thing. Their brain wouldn't work well. You know, we had some single moms, single dads that have kids that just can't think past 5 p.m. because they're spent by that time mentally. And basically everybody in between. We had some nootropics experimenters. We certainly had some entrepreneurs. I mean, that's like a huge audience for the Cortex stack. And every one of them reported, you know, fixes of their problems. You know, the moms had energy from 5 to 9 p.m. You know, the guy that worked at the mattress factory that had to sit there on paper all day, like notating which mattresses are coming in and out, his brain worked better the entire time and could actually do it. The sales guy made more sales because he was much more verbally fluent and much more confident with customers. You know, the C-suite executive, because we actually had a couple C-suite executives, a CFO and a CMO. The CFO was functioning incredibly better. They work with numbers, that's all they do. Brain was functioning incredibly. We had a Wall Street guy, day trader, functioning incredibly well, doing better, spending more time at the office, being more productive, and for them, that means making more money. Critically important. We had startup entrepreneurs like able to muscle through the whole day of being an entrepreneur and building a startup company, which is hard. It's hard. It's harder than people think. These guys are raving about the product. So we had this sort of full spectrum of people and application with the Cortex stack and the beta testing program, and just about 90% of them said, wow, this is basically incredible. So we formulated the stack, put it out there, and our audience consistently tells us this is the verbal fluency stack, this is the focus stack, this is the motivation stack. This stack is like modafinil, but natural. Secure bottle of what's being called the only pre-made stack that works, livecortex.com. Don't glance over it. If you're waiting to buy a bottle, just pull the trigger. You are going to be happy. Brain performance delivered to your doorstep in 1 to 3 days if you're in America. Okay. You're writing this book that's coming out on the 30th. By the way, go to livecortex.com, click on Nootropics ebook on the menu, put your email in so that you get notified when this thing launches. We're gonna do a video anyway, but in case you wanna get an email when it launches, just go do it. 6/30/17, smarter, better, faster. I'm realizing, like, I like to talk a lot about nootropics philosophy because that's what I've learned over the last 4 years, making these subtle distinctions, but the very specific stacks are also where it's at for people. So I'm writing this book, I'm like, man, I gotta talk more about these stacks. And here's one of them. It's the ALAALCAR Alpha GPC Caffeine Theanine Stack. All right, so we've talked about the AACT stack, which is Alpha GPC ALCAR Caffeine Theanine. That's a pretty powerful stack. Basically what we're doing is adding ALA to it and changing the doses kind of slightly, and therefore facilitating an extra mitochondrial benefit. This stack is pretty amazing. I actually suggested it to somebody who was running into brain performance problems, and from what I was able to gather from her, this seemed like a mitochondria issue. She had a virus that whacked her a few years back, and she ended up with a fatigue syndrome, post-viral fatigue syndrome as a result. It's like a real thing. And it messed with her brain cell mitochondria as far as I can tell. So we got her on the stack, and it actually is really, really working well for her. Here's the stack. First of all, even if you're just a regular person, you can expect for this to turn on brain performance pretty considerably, you know, for a 4 to 5 hour span, and be a reliable, sustainable nootropic stack to take over time. Here's the stack. 200 milligrams ALA, 350 milligrams ALCAR, 75 milligrams alpha GPC, 120 milligrams caffeine, 300 milligrams L-theanine. Now we make sure that we go, I'm very firm on L-theanine and needing 300 or so, at least 250 to really get the brain serotonin increase and the brain GABA increase and to induce the alpha state. I mean, that's what I've come to learn for most people that they really, really need. They can benefit from 100 or 200, but a lot of people say, look, I can't take the jitters away from caffeine with 200 milligrams of theanine. I need more. It's a powerful compound, but I think it needs to be dosed a little higher. The ALA at 200 milligrams is a perfect dose for people because ALA also massively detoxes the liver. So if you got a toxic liver or a slow detox pathway or something in your liver, then that might cause like a Herx response or something. That's something you don't want to dose high on unless you know you can tolerate it. Some people are just absolutely fine. Depends on the condition of your liver, which is probably fine. The ALCAR 350 is a great safe dose for ALCAR. Always a safe dose. You know, some people might take 1,000 and feel a little anxiety or a little brain fog or something because it might be a little too much acetylcholine for them because it partially donates an enzyme to create acetylcholine. You know, it changes blood sugar kind of, ALCAR, and so does ALA. So that's why we're keeping these doses like right in the right range. Alpha GPC, you just want a good infusion of a biologically available acetylcholine precursor. You don't want a lot of it. You just want a nice, solid, good, sustainable infusion of that. The caffeine, pretty regular dose, 120. And then the theanine, enough to actually affect brain serotonin and GABA. What you can expect from this stack, this is a brain energy stack. But you're also going to get, I mean, it's predominantly brain energy centric because of the mitochondrial optimization, because of ALA and ALCAR. But you're going to get focus, working memory, and you're going to get verbal fluency as a result of the combination of ALA, ALCAR, alpha GPC, predominantly, and then you're also going to get a nice solid additional infusion of mental energy. Sorry, somebody's mowing the lawn out there, with the caffeine and the theanine stack. So it's a brain energy centric stack with the extra infusion of working memory, focus, and verbal fluency. Try it out. And you know, we're really going to do a whole nother video about ALA because it's underrated. It is a powerful nootropic compound. I mean, if there's anything that's nootropic, it's absolutely ALA. Getting into the brain, working on mitochondria, crossing the blood-brain barrier, being a massive antioxidant, and being neuroprotective. Very powerful compound. And this, my friends, is a very powerful stack.